Hi, and welcome to my show. You're going to notice a lot of things, like, for instance, right now I'm not wearing makeup. There will be other times I am wearing makeup. Little minor things like that. Bit of a different background setting depending on how I got this. Currently, I'm using my webcam, so I may not have the best quality. Hopefully, that'll change in the future. But let me give you quick snaps of what this is going to be about. Okay. In this, you're going to notice different things. Okay. I'm talking about spiritual reading. I'm talking about when I finally just decided I'm going to search within. Now, yeah, I noticed you probably noticed that on taglines I put words like controversial, whatever. Let me give you a quick snaps on that. I'm not deliberately being controversial. The way things are set up in society, many of the belief systems that I've come up with through my own experiences in figuring out things could be controversial. I one time told my husband, back when he was still alive, of course, I'm a widow, that when I started searching inside to discover who I am, instead of relying on other people, organizations, or books to tell me who I am, I discovered that a lot of things about me are naturally controversial. I don't mean them to be controversial. I'm not set now to be controversial. They just are, because they go against the society norm or the grain of society. But a few of these things are starting to become accepted more and more and more. But still, with some of the basic dinosaur religious type beliefs, some of these things are still being fought by those who say this is the only way, this is wrong, or whatever. And here's my opinion on that. You are entitled to believe whatever it is you want to believe, or go by any rule that you want to go by. That's fine. Okay? If you want to believe that your particular belief system that you were brought up in or chose to go into is the only real way, is the only right way, for whatever reason, that's fine. You can believe that. But when you start insisting and forcing that belief on others and accusing society of violating your beliefs, that doesn't go or set well with me. Okay, I'm trying to learn how to accept things. Still got a lot of growing up to do, but I've done a lot of growing up. And because of the growing up that I have done, and because I still have my own adventures to seek, and I will always, I feel I have something I can share. Okay, and I just want to come out and share what I've learned. If you don't believe it, that's fine. You don't have to. If you don't want to accept it, that's fine. You don't have to. If it resonates with you, that's fine. Let it. If there's parts of it that you can go for and other parts of it is like, no, then let go of what doesn't fit. And embrace what does fit. We're all unique. And one of my unique things that I've come to understand that at one time we seem to rely on we're all separate. Everybody's unique. We are not connected. And then that kind of really flipped over to we're all connected to the whole. And it became one or the other, one or the other, one or the other. Well, why couldn't it be both? My finger is connected to my hand. My hand is connected to my arm. My arm is connected to me. My finger is part of the whole of who I am, but it's still an individual part of the body. Got it? Okay. Like my nails, by the way. Anyways. And that's how we are. Individual parts of the whole, expressing itself through us. Got it? Okay. But this is not what this is about. This is about letting you know what all this is going to be about. And we're going to be talking about things like the heart and the energy of the heart, the brain, the mind, and how the mind is much more than just a brain. Metaphysics, quantum physics, epigenetics, you know, different belief systems and how they coincide with me and how I feel, and maybe it coincides with you. Maybe different points of view. Maybe, I never thought of that before. Many things we're going to be talking about. But let me give you a history of who I am and why I feel qualified. Okay? First of all, I'm not the only one who's qualified. So this isn't any of those kind of things. Okay? Everybody's qualified. Everybody has experiences. Everybody has beliefs. Everybody has reasons why. I just chose to take my qualifications and share them with you. Okay? So it is not one of those, oh, look at me, I'm so holy. Okay? It's not that. Now, let's go on to a little brief history of Penny Reagan. Okay? I was born in Ohio many years ago in 1962. In my life, I have learned that, well, I believe that as children or as individuals, the truth is within us, but we don't always recognize that because we have been taught since childhood, since those little tender years, when we're looking for guidance and we believe that all adults must be right because after all they've lived here for longer than us, and they have already shown us not to touch fire and not to do this and not to do that. And those are the very impressionable years of our lives. And it's very easy to trust adults over our own inner feelings. And I learned at a very young age not to trust myself, but to trust the adults, to trust others. But what I didn't understand was that many of the things that I felt going on in myself was true, but was not accepted by mainstream society. And wanting to be a good child who was taught that part of being good is being obedient, blind obedience to the adult world. Not trusting in myself and my own instincts, being taught at a very young age concepts of sacrifice, caring more about others than yourself, that I don't really know anything because I'm just a kid. Led me from a very young age into a life of abuse. And I never got shot. I mean, there are people who've had it worse than me. I've never gotten shot. Other than operations, I've never been stabbed. I mean, somebody has to operate on you and take a knife and put it in your navel, which happened to me 3 times. That's a form of stabbing, but it's not a crime or a form of stabbing. It's let's get this bad stuff out, you know. But it is still a form of stabbing. So I've never actually been, never had anybody attempt to stab me. I take that back. I've never been stabbed. Take out the attempt. I've never been stabbed. It's never been followed through with. I've never been shot by a gun. I have heard that it's extremely painful, that it's a strong burning sensation, and I do not ever want to experience that. I've never been taken up by a tornado. I mean, there are things in my life that people that are considered very, very horrid things that I have never experienced. So I haven't had what one would say was the worst life in the whole world. But I haven't had the best either. I'm kind of flow in there. I think most people have a tragedy story that they can tell and grow and learn from. What I have gone through, I mean, you already know from what I've said, is I've suffered through abuse. I've had an alcoholic father. I've had to deal with, beatings. I've had to deal with my life being threatened. And as I said earlier, not to the point that any bodily damage was done, but threatened. Kind of unfold through murder attempts. I've had to deal with abuse in school. I was the child that was made fun of. I was teased, tormented, beaten simply because I was Penny Harris. I've had to deal with a lot of cruelty and deal with this crying out I need help only to be told things like I've been told that if you don't, it takes two to fight, if you don't fight back, they won't fight you, you're not allowed to fight, only to be walking home from school with kids beating me on my back because I refused to fight back because I was trying to be the good child. And the good child led me to being sexually abused. And that led to you are bad. And the things that I did that would have been considered good was overlooked because I was taught not to say, look at me, look at the good I've done, and more taught to point out, if you want to be good, point out what bad you've done, only to be told that I am the bad one. So when I had a job and I would walk down to the store and I would buy milk or bread or whatever the family needed, I didn't point out, hey, look what I did. And no one questioned where the mysterious milk or bread came from. So this was kind of my upbringing, let the world know how bad you are, but if you tell the world how good you are, you're being prideful and boastful, and that makes you a bad person. And it was very confusing. And it led me to the first marriage being very abusive. And when I'm crying out for help, I'm being told, you're not his little plaything anymore. Whatever he wants, you give to him, blah, 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 blah. And no one helps me, and everybody thinks I'm overreacting, and then they find out later I'm not, and they wonder why I put up with it. And then one day I discovered self-love and happiness comes from within, and no one can make you happy, and that made this big epiphany in my life, which made big differences, which attracted the second husband to me, and he was my ideal mate, and then he passed away on June 19th, 2013, after his anniversary. So I'm coming from someone who was raised to be a victim, cut down because she was a victim, and decided to become a victor. And I decided the positive changes, and I hate to use the word positive because it's like, positive good, negative bad, but there's negative ions, there's positive ions, and they work together. But the changes I made in my life that helped me to progress, I made when I started to think for myself. Some things were overnight, some things take time, some lessons I've had to learn over and 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 over. That exhausted me too. And so this is about learning how to think for yourself. This is about learning how to feel. This is about subconscious mind. This is about the conscious mind. This is about epigenetics. This is about quantum physics. This is about being real. And if that's what you're interested in, and you want to let go of all of this bullshit, that we were taught growing up and be free. And you want to share your experiences because you've probably had your own experiences and your growth, as I'm going to be sharing my growth because I still have further to go. You're in the right place. And for as long as you don't mind having your mind challenged, hearing things that might shock you, hearing things like, I am grateful for everything that's ever happened in my life, even the abuse. And that's just life. You're in the right place. And if something shocks you to the point and you don't understand it, and that very well could happen, you may want to just decide, you know what, she's not for me anymore. She's a devil. Or you may just want to put it aside until you're ready to accept it. Or you may just want to, you know what, I never thought of that. You may just want to, you know, Penny, I agree with this and this and this, but I'm sorry, I can't go here. And all of that is fine. All of that is fine. All of that is fine. I'm not going to tell you what to think. I'm just going to tell you what I think. And sometimes, because humans are what humans are, it may sound like I'm telling you what to think, and if that happens, I apologize. But I'm telling you what I think, what I've experienced, what I've come up with, and that could change. You can call me Quickie Clock, but that's what change is about. You know what? I didn't think about that before. Okay, I've changed my position on that. And that's good. So that's what this channel is about. Get ready for that. Thank you for watching.